How you doing, friends? Welcome back. Got a small project we're going to do today. Figured I'd go ahead and just make a video about it. I've got a battery tender type system for the golf cart. It's I think it's proprietary to the particular battery that's in the golf cart, but it's basically they're caps that fit on the tops of the batteries where you would fill for the lead acid batteries, where you would put distilled water. Those type of batteries, I got the same thing here in the RV. You've got to check that water level periodically. You know, I don't know, every 3 months, 6 months or something like that. You don't want to let that water level drop too much, because that exposes the lead plates inside the batteries. And then, of course, it's bad for the battery. The battery ends up discharging, it ruins the battery. They can be recovered. There's a process for that, but really don't want to get involved in trying to recover batteries that, you know, have discharged because of the loss of fluid and whatnot. Admittedly, I'm not real good at keeping up with keeping the batteries full, even using those, but it's better than having to do it by hand and pull the caps off and fill them and whatnot. So for the RV, I wanted to put the same thing on the battery in here, and I couldn't find the one that's on the golf cart, and I ended up finding out I think that's proprietary to that brand of battery. But I did find another system here. I want to show it to you real quick. I went ahead and ordered it. It just came in, so we're going to try to put that in today. But let me spin the camera around and I'll show you what we're dealing with here. So this is what I got. It's called Qwik Fill. It's an onboard battery watering system, and it comes with the two tops. I've already installed these red things. I just found out that the one I'm going to have to take off because that's going to be the fill point. On the one end, you can see here it's got a little male adapter or male fitting, and this black hose. So basically, the top of your battery would be like such. This black hose would run in between. So whatever the spacing ends up being, once I pull the caps off the battery, this black hose will be trimmed to fit, and it'll fit in between the two of those. And that way, the water line here will connect to, I can take either one of these, doesn't matter which, connect to one of these. You got the hand pump that'll connect to the dust cap here, the quick connect, and you just hand pump, goes into one side, fills the battery, it equalizes, goes across the other side and fills the other side of the battery. So it's relatively simple. It's not anything super difficult to install, I don't think. So we're going to go grab a couple of screwdrivers, remove the cover off the battery in the compartment. We'll go ahead and try to install these real quick, and we'll see how it turns out. The instructions are pretty easy going. They're not super complicated. Breaks it down into 3 basic steps. Well, I'm sorry, 5 basic steps. And it gives you an idea, depending on the size of your battery, how long you're going to have to trim your hose. But we're going to wait until we get out there and actually see what we're dealing with before we do that. Kind of gives you a picture here on the back of what you can expect as far as the install. This is the battery side. This is the hand pump side of the water fill. And you can see here, this is kind of an example of what we're talking about. It's got the hand pump, and you got a jug of distilled water there, and the end of the hose just goes inside of that. So let me grab some tools. We'll relocate outside and we'll start putting this thing on. So here's the battery. It's inside a battery box, and the hose there you see, that's for the lead acid batteries can off gas a little bit. So that hose just leads up to a vent here on the outside, so it's not inside the compartment. And back here is the other end of the water fill for the golf cart batteries. It should fit this also, I hope. But we need to take this cover off, which is a little bit difficult because of the way the manufacturer ran some extra cables. But pull this cover off real quick and I'll expose the battery, and then I'll show you what we got. So there's the battery. You can see the 2 cell covers there. This cover might actually interfere a little bit with this water fill. I may have to modify the side of it to allow room for the hoses. We'll see here, I don't know. It's a little bit cool out today, so the plastic's going to be a little harder to work with, a little bit more brittle than normal. So I don't know if we'll get into that, but let me pop these caps off and we'll put the cell tops on top there. So there's the one side. We'll try to do the other side here one-handed. show you what how this works. Just kind of get a screwdriver in there underneath of it. Just pry up gentle. And it just lifts right off and exposes the cells inside there. And you get the other piece here. You can see how it's interfering with the handle a little bit. But it just pops in there and it kind of friction fits. That should do it. Now I'll line up the hose and measure it, and I'll trim that real quick and we'll pop the hose on. And there's the center hose in. I might point out that if you get one of these, you might want to install that hose first, or at least do one side and then get an idea for how long your hose needs to be, and then connect the hose to both ends and then install the other side. I don't know. It wasn't terrible. What I ended up having to do, of course, I measured it, cut it, installed one side, and then had to use a pair of needle nose pliers and kind of bent the hose up to be able to get it in between here so it would fit on the other side here. So that's in. Now we'll just pull this cap off and we'll hook the other rubber hose in, and that should do it. Before I go and put the lid back on, that's the whole setup there. You see the clear hose is the fill hose, the first cell, the connecting hose in between, then the other cell, and it's got the little red cap on there. Had to modify the lid. It wasn't right anyway. I mean, I guess it's fine if you're not in here a whole lot, but I just recently changed the battery, so been in here a little bit more than I care to be. But they just drilled a hole in the lid on this side and a hole on the lid on this side for the wires to go through. And the way they had it situated makes it extremely difficult to get the lid on and off. Of course, then you got the vent hose, that's kind of hanging you up. So it's not ideal, but I trimmed the side of the box down to the lip on this side and on this side. And that way it can just sit on top. I mean, ideally you want this thing to be as closed as you can and the gases just go up through the hose. But that little bit isn't going to really hurt anything, I don't think. I'm not concerned about it. Plus the floor of this compartment has some openings as well to allow for the generator that's over here. So we'll go ahead and put this back on. Well, maybe we'll test this out first for leaks and then we'll put this back on. Let me go get a bottle of water and the hand pump here. Hook it up real quick. Alright, so here's the hose, the fill hose. Where'd it go? Quick Connect right here. It does fit on the same one. I think this is a Trojan brand or something for the golf cart. Drop the other end in a jug of water and you just pump. You see, there goes the water. Goes up the line. Huh, that actually needed some too. And it's going in the battery, so that's a brand new battery. That's probably a quarter gallon so far. Still going in. And it's starting to slow down now. That's it. Okay. Let's see, do we got any leaks up here? It looks good. So what we'll do, I'll just unhook this, and the rest of the water that's in at least in this line, will just run back inside. The water that's in this line will just stay there, probably eventually gravity feed into the battery. So we'll go ahead and unhook this and put everything back together. Heard a noise. Came around the side here to get a screwdriver, and look who came to visit. What is that, red-shouldered hawk, red-tailed hawk? He's up there, I don't know, scraping his beak on the side of the shed. Oh, there he goes. Well, there you go, the install of the Qwik Fill battery watering system. The install was easy. It's a inexpensive product. Looks like it's going to hold up good, so so far I'm impressed. If I have any major issues or something happens with this down the road that it quits working, I'll be sure to make a update video and put that out there. But for now, it looks like it's going to work just fine. So Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up. That helps out a lot. And if you want to stay up to date on future videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button down at the bottom there. So we'll see you all on the next video. And until then, take care.